WVUA-FM, Tuscaloosa.
Hello everybody, this is WVUA 90.7 FM The Capstone, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Full Court Press Podcast. My name is Jamie Martinez, and I'm joined today by just Nick Atkinson. With that being said, on today's episode, look forward to league news and our plus and minuses for each team so far this season. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode. Now let's get into it. Now real quick, before we get into anything, Alex is not here today. He kind of lost his voice, and he's gotten real sick over the last couple of days. He kind of sounds like if the Cookie Monster had a kid with Dikembe Mutombo. He's just real scratched up right now, so he's not going to be here. It's just me and Nick today. We're going to carry on, though. I'm a little sick, too, but we pushing through. We're going to fight on. So, let's get into the news. LeBron scoring tracker as of 5 p.m. He is 1,076 points away from breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record. He's been hurt the last few days. I don't think that's changed at all since last week. So, yeah, that's something to keep an eye on when he comes back. I'm not sure when he's going to come back. Do you know?
He's questionable for the game on Friday. So
okay.
I'm assuming he'll come back, though.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point. Moving on, Isaiah Stewart. According to Woj, Detroit Pistons center Isaiah Stewart has a sprain on his right big toe and will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks, sources tell ESPN. Stewart has averaged 12 points and 9 rebounds this season. This is a bit of a hit for the Pistons.
For sure.
They've been underperforming, but again, when you lose your star big man, that's going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, for sure. He's playing a great role defensively, especially.
He's just been a role player so far, especially when he attacked the Lakers last year. That was hilarious.
That was crazy.
Now, more bigger news. Desmond Bane. This is a hard one. He's out. Bane suffered a grade 2 sprain of his right big toe November 11th versus Minnesota and will be sidelined for 2 to 3 weeks. This is a big loss for the Grizz. For the Grizz, but they will be getting Jaren Jackson back, which is good. He made his season debut Tuesday night against the Pelicans. Underwhelming performance, but understandable since it's his first game back in action. I'm hoping they didn't rush him back too early because they said he wouldn't be back till March, and March is a long time away.
Yeah.
So
but those defensive stats, he still went crazy. 5 blocks in his first game back. That's
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For being his first game back, those are great numbers. Yeah. 7 points. You'd like to see more, only 6 rebounds, but
he was chucking threes too. He was like 0 of 4 or something like that.
In 25 minutes. Hopefully they can ease him back into the lineup. Yeah. We'll see. Nikola Jokic in health and safety protocols shouldn't be out too long. Not really worried about that. The Joker, we'll see what he can get into. And now, Nick, let's move on to our trade rumors.
All right, so as of late, Russell Westbrook, he's been playing really well. So it's kind of had some teams calling about him. For example, the Knicks, the Heat, and the Pacers. Those have been the only 3 teams that have really called for him. So there's right now there's an offer. It's Russ goes to the Heat, Kyle Lowry, Buddy Hield, and Miles Turner go to the Lakers, and then Austin Reeves and a first go to the Pacers.
3-team trade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. That would be crazy if it happened.
I know, but it's like, I don't like the Russell going to the Heat. For the Lakers, that's a very good move.
Yeah.
You get 3 good shooters around LeBron, but now you put Russell Westbrook in the same situation. Although he will get to have the ball in his hands, control the floor completely, it's still kind of,
So you said Kyle Lowry goes to the Lakers?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I like that because, you already have the oldest team in the league, and you're getting older still, and then you lose your shooting with Austin Reeves.
But you do get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner.
Yeah, that's true. When you put it that way, I could see how this is a positive.
Yeah, and then the Pacers get Austin Reeves, great defender. He'll probably move to their starting small forward, I'd assume.
Probably. Yeah, no, I think this would be a good trade if it worked out for all parties.
Mm-hmm. And so another trade is Jakob Poeltl goes to the Celtics. I don't know the exact pieces of the but I'd assume it'd be something like Gallinari and Peyton Pritchard, and that's a good deal. It really makes them be a complete contender, especially defensively. Whenever Robert Williams comes back, they'll have one of the deepest rosters in the league.
Yeah, like I've been saying, the Celtics have been missing that 7-footer. Mm-hmm. They lack size, and acquiring Jakob Poeltl, that'd be huge for them. He hasn't really played too much of a role with the Blazers since this season started. So hopefully he can rejuvenate himself himself back in Boston, and Portland gets some shooters around him. Gets Gallinari, that's still size, and then you get Peyton Pritchard, that's another shooter. So I think that'd be a good trade.
Yeah. Oh, he's on the Spurs. Total.
He's on the Spurs?
Total, yeah.
I don't think he was on the Blazers.
I don't know. I think
of Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Why am I thinking of Yusuf Nurkic? Oh, my goodness. If it's the Spurs?
Yeah.
If it's the Spurs, oh, my goodness. Get rid of him. The Spurs have absolutely nothing going. Exactly. They have nothing going for them.
So, one more rumor is the Nets are looking to get rid of Joe Harris's contract. It's a big contract. It's like close to $15 million, and they're just not doing good right now. They just got blown out last night by the Sacramento Kings.
Put up 153 on them.
Yep. And, I mean, it's just a lot of moving pieces. The Nets GM or somebody in the media just said they don't know if Kyrie is coming back this season. So
that's crazy.
I mean, you never know. KD even came out last night, and he was like, how do you expect me to play with, he was like Royce O'Neal, Edmund Sumner, and Nick Claxton and win basketball? Mm-hmm. And he said it's not shade, but like how...
Low key.
It is, but yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that team is dysfunctional, man.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is barely playing, and when he does play, it's very underwhelming.
No, it's horrible.
You have the whole Kyrie Irving drama, and then now Kevin Durant's out there playing with G League players. You just fired your head coach.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is not looking good right now. This is a team that basically everybody thought was going to win a championship when Kyrie and KD first went there.
And Harden were there, too.
Yeah.
Like, they've been completely underwhelming and just not...
And now they're one of the worst in the league.
Yeah.
That's super crazy to think about. I do think Joe Harris, getting rid of him, although he's such a good shooter, it would do good for a team that will most likely be rebuilding in the future.
Yeah, I'd say
which is crazy
year.
To say because you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
All those picks just to be okay in the playoffs.
It's crazy. And, it frees up a good amount of cap, too. So can't be mad at it.
All right. So I'll get us started off with our main topic. So we're doing plus and minus for each team, starting out with the East. So the Bucks are first. I think the main positive is that they have good team chemistry, can win without the big three playing there. We haven't seen Middleton play, but they were still the best team in the Eastern Conference. They were like 9-0, and they're just so good defensively. They have such a good offensive scheme. I just think whenever he does come back, they're going to be the best team in the NBA. And for my negative, like I was saying, we haven't seen Middleton play, so we don't know what we're getting whenever he does come back.
So as for my positives for the Bucks, you have Giannis. That's about the biggest plus you're going to get if you're anybody. He's averaging 31, 12, and 5. They're one of the best teams in basketball, have a great record. They were undefeated for a while at one point. Wasn't it 9-0?
Yeah, 9-0.
It's crazy. Negative, like what you said, Chris Middleton. He's missed not being on the court, and Drew Holiday has taken a step back shooting percentage-wise, even though he's still averaging almost 20 points a game. The Bucks expect Middleton to return to the team by the middle or end of November, according to Shams. The guard is recovering from a wrist issue. He had surgery during the offseason, so hopefully we can get Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton back to form.
All right, so next up is the Celtics. The main plus for this is just how good Tatum's been playing. I mean, he's been playing like the MVP. Remember, I picked him to be MVP. So, I mean, they appear to be the most dominant team offensively. I think they have like a top 3 offense right now, if I'm correct, I think. But yeah, it's just like they're so unstoppable and they're missing pieces. So it's like, that's crazy to me. But the minus... Like I was saying, the defense has been lackluster. I'm concerned with the big man depth, but if they get Jakob Poeltl that goes away completely. So yeah.
Yeah, for my positives, you have one of the best duos in the NBA, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They complement each other so well.
Yeah, they do.
You don't ever see them fighting with each other like what's happening in Brooklyn. Like what you said, Tatum's playing at an MVP level, and when Tatum has that very rare off night, you have Jaylen Brown out there to go put 40 up on him, and I just can't see a situation where they don't go deep in the playoffs just based off this duo. And negative, like what you said, the defensive side on this team, despite having the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, it's just not looking good. You're missing the Time Lord, Robert Williams. He was your inside defensive piece. But again, if you do get Jakob Poeltl, that would help a lot on the interior. Al Horford's only getting older. Noah Vonleh is not really doing too hot.
Yeah.
So, we'll see where the Celtics can go from there.
Next up is the Atlanta Hawks. The pairing of Trey and DeJounte has been perfect. They have 2 guys that can explode for 30 points and 12 assists. Like, it's like one of them is going to sit there and put out like 20 assists, and then the other one's going to put up 40. Like, it's crazy how like efficient their offense is and their defense at the same time. They have one of the best two-way like just actions in basketball. And then my negative is they often get out-rebounded. When Clint is being dominant on the boards, that's the only time that they ever even get rebounds. Like, when he was out, when he is out, they lose several defensive and offensive rebounds. And aside from him, everybody's small. Onyeka's 6'7", and he gets only around 6 rebounds a game. And that's the second leading rebounder on the team. That's quite concerning for a team that's going to go on a playoff run pretty soon.
So for Atlanta, positives, this starting five is lethal, and I'm excited to see the future of this group. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, they complement each other so well. You have DeAndre Hunter to stretch the floor. John Collins dunks everything. Clint Capella, is your stereotypical big man, exactly what you need. He's a block machine. I love the way Trae Young and DeJounte Murray play. They'll give you 30 and 12 if they want to. When we went to the Hawks game, DeJounte Murray put up his first triple-double, and he played amazingly. He was very clutch. He hit the almost the game winner. He sent it to overtime. Trae Young, he's a baller. On the negative, the Hawks have been outscored by 4 points a game, which is the league's third worst mark on free throws, and by 3.2 per game, which is the 12th worst mark on three-pointers. So this is a team that just gives up just a little bit too much on the defensive end to be winning basketball games. Hopefully they can get that fixed, but we'll see. Offensively, this is one of the best teams in the league. Defensively, it could use a little work.
Yeah, I feel like as the season goes on, they'll continue to get better and, flesh. Next up is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they have, just like the Hawks, a top two-way game in the league. They have 2 amazing defenders down low and then 2 offensive superstars at the top.
Yeah.
So it's like there's nothing else that you could really do to make them, excel on offense. And then for my negatives, we also don't know what they're going to be like in the playoffs. Besides Mitchell and Love, nobody else has been to the playoffs. They're very inexperienced, so it could lead to them not having much success in it and potentially being a first-round exit.
Yeah. So for the Cavs, my positives is when this team is fully healthy, they are nearly impossible to handle. I mean, everybody complements each other so well. Like, this team is just so well built. Like, when this team is healthy, there's shooters, there's defense, there's finishing, there's interior. It's insane. Their depth, it goes so deep, and it's crazy. However, on the negative sides of things, I feel like when there is injuries, they don't play so well. For example, when they faced Sacramento and when Donovan Mitchell was out, they didn't play too well. Darius Garland got held to only 7 points. So without Mitchell, they just didn't play well. When Darius Garland was out, they didn't necessarily play the greatest. But when Darius Garland came back in the lineup, everybody was healthy. They just killed the competition. So if they can stay healthy, this is a championship-winning team.
Yeah, for sure. Next up is the Wizards, who are surprisingly the 5th seed in the East.
Crazy.
That's crazy. But they've looked really nice even with Brad Beal being off the court. So when he comes back, they could be in the running for, a 7-8 play-in spot. But, other than that, there's not too many positives. But the main negative that's been sticking out to me is their lottery pick, Johnny Davis, who has been playing horrible, bro. Like, it's really shocking. He's averaging 1 point per game on 28% from the field.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was like whenever he was in college, everybody thought he was like this was the steal of the draft. Like this was like such a good player. But like now you have Monte Morris, who's a great 6-man, being your starting point guard.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a positive.
Man, I love Johnny Davis.
Yeah, I know.
The draft. I thought he was going to be a star.
It's sad.
So for Washington, they have proven to be able to win without Bradley Beal, as they've won 4 straight games without him. Porzingis is starting to play like his old self, and Kyle Kuzma is getting buckets left and right. Kuzma, everybody thought he was going to be the legend of the Lakers, and then he gets traded off, shipped to Washington, and now he's finally getting his opportunity to shine without Bradley Beal. He's putting up great performances. Kristaps Porzingis is looking like his old self. I think it's the beard that he has going.
Who?
Kristaps.
Oh, yeah.
It looks so funky on him.
The negative.
Negatives, they have limited depth after their top 7 to 8 guys, which will eventually catch up with them as the season moves on. And when you talk about depth, it's not really like Well, their players are just not great. Like what you said about Monte Morris. That's not who you want starting at point guard.
No.
Especially when you used to have a John Wall out there.
Russell Westbrook.
Like this team, it was much like last year when they started off super hot. They were like the first team, or like the best team in the East for like half the year. Then after that, they were the worst. So I can easily see that happening again.
Yep. Next up is my team, 76ers.
Uh-oh.
They have the second highest scoring duo this season behind the Celtics.
Yeah.
But Joel and Maxey have been so dominant on the court together. Just the other night, they combined for 77 points. To add on to that, Joel is the first player to put up 40, 10, and 5 in consecutive games, which is crazy. He's just proven that, like he's back. And honestly, he's the best center in the league. So, but my negative is I'm concerned of the fit. When they're out there together, it's like only one of them can succeed. Either it's like Joel and Maxey are out there putting up 15 and Harden has 35, but then we lose. Or if one of them's not in the game, we win. So I'm just like concerned of how the offense is, because
team chemistry's not there.
Exactly. Just between those three though, it's like everybody else. We have a really good bench pieces. D'Anthony Melton, Montrezl Harrell. They got the how they play, the grit and grind type style of basketball.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So as for my positives, Joel Embiid, he started off the season pretty slow, wasn't really showing the MVP numbers we all thought he would, but now with that, 59 he put up?
Yeah.
With that performance, everybody was just shocked. I mean, he really showed everybody why he's the best center in the league. He's not like Jokic. He's not a passer, but he plays that center role so well. He's the best center that we've seen in the league since probably like prime Dwight Howard, maybe DeMarcus Cousins if you want to, talk about more recently. He's just so dominant. He almost had a quadruple-double. He was just a couple stats away from that. Like, Joel Embiid is going to be a monster for years to come. As for the negatives, they have been struggling a bit as a team. Like you said, team chemistry's not there. They're 7-7, and when you have the best big man in the league, that's just not the way it should be.
And a top point guard,
you have Tyrese Maxey who plays with Embiid very well. I do think Harden is just not a good team player.
Not on that team. If Maxey wasn't there, sure. Him and Dwight Howard, they played really good together, but it's just not. When you have 2 point guards out there, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think you got to just ship out Harden. Find some more pieces to build around Joel and Maxey. See what you could do there.
So next up is the Pacers. Benedict Mathurin has been second in the Rookie of the Year race. So, I really liked how he's looked, especially as a scorer, especially beside such a great playmaker like Halliburton. They have such a good future together. So that's really the only positive for this season. They're just a rebuilding team. They have been able to be in the play-in race, 7 seed, but really the negatives are that they're too good to miss the play-in, but they're too you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like they're not going to be able to get a lottery pick. They have guys like Buddy and Turner who are going to age out or want to get traded, and that's going to take a big hit. And then they're going to be in the same spot next year with no role players, with no guys. Then they're going to miss out on possibly the most stacked draft since the Zion draft.
Man, it's crazy. So for the Pacers, my positives, you have Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. They're going to be trouble for the league for a long, long time. Those are great pieces to build around your 2 guards of the future. I'm kind of sad that the Kings let go of Halliburton. He looks super promising, but I think it's good that he has his own team now. Benedict Mathurin is looking like a scoring monster. Like what I said last week, he doesn't really put up eye-popping numbers in every other category, like the assists and the rebounds and all that, but he's still averaging 20 points a game. Can't condemn him for that, so, go Benedict Mathurin. Negative, again, they're trying to move Turner and Hield with no real direction, if they're, trying to make the playoffs or rebuild. They're not bad enough to suck, but not good enough to really do much. So this is just like a weirdly spotted team. I think you just got to trade the farmhouse, keep your young guards, and see what you could do from there.
Yeah, so I've been meaning to ask you this. So would you have rather traded De'Aaron or kept Halliburton? Which one would you have rather
I would have traded Halliburton.
Really?
I have always loved De'Aaron Fox. I have been on the De'Aaron Fox hype train ever since Kentucky. Yeah. And seeing him get drafted to the Kings, he's always been super slept on. He averaged 25 a game 2 years ago, and nobody ever talked about it. Yeah. All anybody talked about was Halliburton. So I think it's everybody's finally seeing why I hyped up Fox so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So the Raptors are next. Scotty and Pascal have been playing really good together, Undersized front court, but they're still really good defensively, But Pascal taking some time off with the injury, I feel like is going to lead for Scotty, and a couple other players to be able to show off and, show that they're relevant basketball players, especially Banton. He had like a 26-point game the other night in a win, so that was crazy to me. A negative is their depth is very concerning, especially at center. Chris Boucher, he's all right, but he's no rim protector.
Yeah.
The best rim protector you have is Pascal, but whenever he's off the court, Ken Burch is not going to be guarding nobody in the paint.
Ken Burch.
That's crazy. There's no other options they have either, so it's like I don't know how they're going to get past the play-in.
Yeah. I mean, for the Raptors, you have a great young core of Scotty Barnes and OG, plus you have Siakam and Fred, so you have the vets, you have your young core. That's good enough to be good.
Yeah.
But the negative, they're not great. This is a good team, not a great team. So they'll probably be good enough to make a semis run, maybe if they're good enough, but this is not an NBA Finals team whatsoever. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. So the Knicks are next up. I feel like the Jalen Brunson deal actually kind of wasn't a flop. It was actually pretty good, And Julius Randle's been playing better. It's made his trade stock go up. He was kind of in some trade rumors as well, just like Russell Westbrook. But that's really the only positives. RJ Barrett's kind of had an off year a little bit. He's averaging, 19 points a game, but you want him to be averaging 25.
Yeah, that's what we all thought was going to happen.
Yeah. And then the negatives are the team still isn't good. They've given up 200 more points than they've scored this season.
Oh, my goodness.
And the defense is so, awful. Besides Mitchell Robinson, even the perimeter defense is bad. It's, crazy. Derrick Rose is probably your best perimeter defender, and that's not good for a 35-year-old man. So, you're just really – and you're also letting Cam Reddish rot on the bench. He's not getting any opportunity at all. 8 points per game. It's, sad. They just
and when he does start, he goes out and scores, 23. And you're not starting him?
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
I feel like
you could legit build around him.
Yeah,
He's that good.
Exactly. You could really, if you had another coach in there besides Tibbs who, loves his veteran players, he will be starting right now. No doubt.
Yeah, so for the Knicks, you have Randall, Brunson, and RJ who are playing fantastic. Plus, you have great bench depth. Negative, this team just doesn't win how they should. This is a great team on paper, but on the stat sheet, they just don't perform. It's like when I was talking about Tatum and Brown earlier, how when one of them has an off night, the other one will pick up for their bad performance. When one player has an off night for the Knicks, everybody else has an off night. They just can't pick each other up from, when they're not playing well. Yeah. So this team just does not win games.
No, the Miami Heat, who are right outside of the play-in or in the last spot of the play-in, which is crazy to say. Last year being in the conference finals and a 3-point away from being in the finals, but the Big Three has been playing really good together, around 20 points per game. As a whole, for all three of them, so that's 60 points per game. With Strus and other bench pieces doing really well, but there's more negatives as well. They have no power forward. It's killed them defensively. Bam's such a presence, it doesn't really matter. But besides that, you have Caleb Martin running your power forward and Duncan Robinson as your backup power forward. Yeah. That's not going to lead to success in the deep Eastern Conference. No, not this year. They have a good three-point team, but it's a very easy defensive scheme. I feel like you pull Bam out of the paint, and then now Cody Martin's the best defender in there. Everybody's going to yam it on him. It's
Yeah, for the Heat, you have your same core that you've always had, and it's worked. You have Jimmy, Bam, Harrow, Lowry, and Coach Spoelstra. That's enough. That's going to win you games. But it's not going to win you a ton of games. They've won their past 3, but they've been struggling to stack wins. They're 7-7.
Yeah.
They're just mediocre. They haven't been great like we all thought they would be. They were the 3rd in the East last year. They look like maybe they'll be a play-in team.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a very deep Eastern Conference, and I don't think they stack up very well.
No. The Bulls have the main positive I've seen is they've been able to play really good defense without Zoe being in, and that's a really good positive for potentially the best point guard defender, young point guard defender. He's a really good defender, I will say that. But Pat Williams has looked like a completely different player this season. He's not playing good at all.
Nope.
His defense is still really good, but it's as soon as that injury hit, his offense deteriorated. He can't shoot. He's blowing layups. I don't know. I felt like he was going to have a close to all-star season this season.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
Wow.
I thought he had a lot of potential.
That's tough. Positives for the Bulls, you have DeMar and Zach. That's one of the best duos in the league. They're still playing well. They're still pushing. Mid-range god DeMar, the bounce man Zach. You can't go wrong with it. But Lonzo still out with no timeable to return, and Vucevic, he's aging. He's getting dunked on all the time. He just looks sloppy on the court now. I think the Bulls missed their championship window. I think last year was their best shot. Vucevic is only getting older, and I think he's going to be the reason why they don't reach their full potential.
Yeah, I mean, originally nobody thought when DeMar came here they're about to win a championship.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it got the Bulls fans what they wanted. They wanted to, see their team make the playoffs, which they did. But I don't know. I think this year might be their last year in the playoffs with this squad, at least.
Yeah, I think maybe if they could trade for like a Miles Turner, they could.
Oh, yeah, that would be crazy. They could be a top 5 seed with that. I mean, everybody wants Miles Turner. But next up is the Magic. Paulo is looked like, honestly, the unanimous Rookie of the Year. I don't even know if that's an award, But they have a really bright future, and that's about it. The point guard position is very concerning. Between Suggs and Anthony, it's like, which one do you pick? Because eventually that's going to cause problems. No way it doesn't. And if I'm them, I pick Anthony, but it's only because Suggs is not the playmaker they drafted. 12-5 on 42% from the field in 30 minutes a game. He's supposed to be like this crazy playmaker. I don't see it. The defense is going. I'm just not impressed with how he's been playing.
Yeah. For the Magic, this team's going to be scary in 2 to 3 years. This is the best amount of young talent in the league. Like what you said with Anthony and Suggs. But, I mean, you still have Paolo, all these guys, but right now is just not the time. Maybe just give them a few years. They'll be good. Keep tanking. They'll be good in the future, but now they're one of the worst in the league.
I feel like if you keep Fultz, I like Fultz,
Yeah,
but I feel like if you put Fultz, maybe you trade Suggs away, get like some more depth around the team, and then you have like Markelle and all those guys lined up. Markelle's a good playmaker.
Yeah.
I feel like Cole Anthony's kind of taking on that Jamal Crawford, point guard scorer off the bench.
Yeah,
so.
Suggs had a really bad game the other day. Yeah. I read that he had like 5 points on like 13% shooting.
I don't know what's been going on with him. I like him.
He was so good in college. He was so fun to watch. I mean, he was the reason people were watching March Madness. Yeah. People wanted to watch Jalen Suggs. Everybody thought he was going to be, some insane player coming out of the draft, and he's just been meh.
Yeah, mid, very mid.
Yeah, I think he's kind of in a bad spot in Orlando. That's a rebuilding team, and by the time 2 to 3 years comes, he might not be on contract anymore. Yeah. He might have missed it. So we'll see how that goes. Praying for the best for Jalen Suggs because I wanted him to be a beast.
So for the Hornets, they have one positive.
LaMelo
is back. That's it. That is it. So let's just get on to the negatives. They're in a very weird place as a franchise.
Yeah.
Rozier, Hayward, Oubre, Martin, they got to get out of there. It's like they're making them good enough to be like a borderline playoff team, but you don't have Miles Bridges, which is a huge hit.
Mm-hmm. He was almost an all-star last year.
That's what I'm saying. If they had him, they'd easily be like a playing team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're just going to stand in this mediocre, couple seeds, and you're just never going to do anything. You're going to waste LaMelo's prime just like Kemba. So it's just not their time.
It's sad because literally their only positive is LaMelo. That's all they have going for them. The negatives, they need to move on from Rozier and Hayward and Washington, Oubre, all of them, and they need to truly tank, get some young studs, just to get these guys off this mediocre roster. Maybe go tank for Wembanyama.
That's what I'm saying.
LaMelo and Wembanyama. My goodness.
That's Kobe and Shaq.
The alley-oops would be insane. Yeah. But in order for that to happen, you got to get rid of these other guys. You got to tank.
Mm-hmm. So the Pistons are up next. I was so high on them.
Hold on. Did we skip the Nets? We did skip the Nets. That's a lot to talk about. Let's get right into the Nets. Let's go.
Yeah. That's my bad because I skipped that.
Yeah.
So that's on me. But the main plus is when Kyrie and Ben have been off the court, they've played like a team and it's led to wins. I mean, I think they're like 4-1 without them, 4-2, something like that. But that's a positive because it's like, you trade those two guys, you can maybe get something in return and be a playing team, maybe. I don't know. But eventually those guys are going to come back and you're not going to be able to control those personalities. It's like you traded your entire future for nothing.
Yeah.
For a couple playoff runs, like it's not impressive at all.
So for the Nets, they're 4-3 since Kyrie's suspension, and the team seems to be playing with more joy and freedom. Durant's averaging 30 points a game, and the role players are playing their roles. I think Durant is 1 game away from beating Wilt Chamberlain's record of most 25 points a game, 25 points to open up a season. So KD, he's doing exactly what he needs to do to carry this team. For the negatives, there's just too much drama surrounding this team. You have this whole Kyrie Irving, shababba-labba, whatever's going on. Kevin Durant's mad at his teammates for not being good enough. Your head coach just got fired. You're tied in with Udoka, and now you have a new head coach. There's just too much going on around this team, and it looks like their main focus just isn't basketball anymore. No. They're a basketball team that's focused more
on drama. People aren't watching them for basketball; they're watching for drama.
Yeah, they want to see this team flop, and it's very unfortunate because this is a team with so much promise, finals potential, and then they flop.
Yeah.
And they have no future at all.
They have nobody. If you get those 3 guys off the team, that's nobody on that team is young besides Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas, I love Cam Thomas. He wears Kobe Grinches every game, and he's a scorer. He was a Summer League MVP. Yep. He won it with Davion Mitchell. They won co-MVP. I love Cam Thomas, but that is not enough for your future.
No, not at all. So now moving on to the West, the Blazers.
Well, no, we have the Pistons.
Are we gonna edit that out? We're just gonna edit that out. All right. Okay. So the Detroit Pistons are up next. The pairing of Ivy and Cade has looked pretty nice, but other than that, nothing else. Just stay honest to your rebuild. Don't try to win games. Don't try to get vet players to ruin that, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, for the Pistons, like the Magic, this team will be good for a while, but not yet. In a few years, they'll be good. You have Cunningham. You have Ivy. That's your guard duo for a while. You have Isaiah Stewart. You have these young pieces, but, again, this is not the time. They're very bad right now.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham's not really playing like we thought he would. Ivy's playing well, but everybody thought he was going to be Rookie of the Year. He just isn't playing like the Rookie of the Year yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to top Paolo.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
He's not even in top 3. Top 3, I think, is Mathurin,
Keegan,
because Keegan just scored 21 the other night.
I feel like they're 3A, 3B. Keegan's 3A right now.
Yeah, he's 3A right now. So we'll see how Ivy does for the rest of the season. We'll see how Keegan does, but years from now they'll be good. Right now,
I think so too.
They're atrocious.
So now moving on to the West, the Blazers, who are the first seed in the Western Conference. Craziest thing I thought, I had them out the play-in this year. So I mean, they just proved me wrong.
Yeah.
But Grant has looked like every penny, every pick, however they got him. I forgot.
Yeah.
I think it was a trade though. Am I correct? Yeah.
I think so.
So whatever they traded to get him is completely worth it. I mean, he's been looking like the defensive player of the year out there. Not really, but he's been playing really good defense. But I feel like they're good, but there's no need to overreact. They still lack depth. They're not a legit playoff team, and they're stuck in this too many good players to miss the playoffs and not enough depth to be a legit contender.
Yeah.
You know when they had CJ and all them guys a couple years ago when they made the conference finals? Mm-hmm. That's a good team right there. But then now you have minus CJ, minus all those role players, and you're just first seed, and you're just going to fluctuate throughout the play-in, waste more of Dame's time.
Yeah, for the Blazers, have they found their new big 3? I mean, you have Dame, Simons, and Grant. They're all averaging a combined 71.6 points per game. Plus, they still have Nurkic, Hart, Sharp, and others for great depth. But the big question is, can they stay healthy? Damian Lillard did not play really much at all last year. He's missed a few games already this year. He's just been a big question mark on if he can stay healthy, because if he can't stay healthy, this is a very deadly team. But again, if they just can't keep that health up, Nurkic has always been injury prone. We'll see how they go from there.
That's the problem. They just don't have a big man to cover for him. You know.
Yeah, no, they're just bad.
I think it's Zach Collins, and that's
Zach Collins. Do not bring that name up. That's a bad.
Oh, he's on Spurs, but I don't know who the backup center is. It's somebody that's not good.
Yeah, that's all you got to know.
So next up is the Nuggets. Everybody is back healthy. Jokic is sick, but that's not really an injury.
That's not a big deal.
And it's showing. They have a very well-run offense, good shooters, good perimeter defense. But other than that, they have the 25th worst defense in the league.
Oy.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I've never really thought of Jokic as a, good defensive center. He's all right in the perimeter, but when you get down low, I feel like you can score on him pretty easily. And then Aaron Gordon, that was kind of what he was traded for, to be that presence down low for Jokic, but I mean, it still hasn't really done anything.
Yeah, for the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. is starting to play more and more like the player we knew he could be. And Bones Highland, he's looking like a perfect sixth man. That's what I predicted. He would be sixth man of the year. So we'll see what Westbrook does. If he gets traded and starts somewhere else, I think Highland is the best candidate for sixth man of the year. Michael Porter Jr., he was the number one high school player in the nation a few years back. Everybody thought he was going to be the superstar. Injuries started to plague his career, but now he's finally looking like that sniper we thought he could be. For the negatives, Jokic has taken a step back in points per game and rebounds from 27 to 21, and Jamal Murray doesn't quite look all there since coming back from his ACL injury. I know ACL injuries are a lot to come back from, but Jamal Murray just hasn't looked that good.
Yeah.
I saw these things on Instagram saying, "Oh, Jamal Murray's back." He had this one crazy highlight, but I mean, one crazy highlight on Instagram doesn't mean you're back. Because I mean, he was out there scoring 25, 26 points a game
and 8 assists.
And now he's just playing like another starting point guard in the league. So hopefully he can come back.
And they're kind of I wouldn't say wasting their primes, but they kind of are wasting Jokic's prime.
Yeah.
Just like the Sixers are, but in a different way. Like I think they made one Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And that's just not
They
a positive.
just don't look
for
like contenders right now.
Yeah, not at all. So next up are the Phoenix Suns, who have so many more negatives than they do positives. But the plus side of it is Jay Crowder, him not being there has not seemed to bother them one bit. They're still top 5 in offense and defense, which is just mind-blowing to me. They lost Cam Johnson too, so they still have threes going in. Defense is working, so I'm very surprised about that. But the environment is completely toxic. Ayton does not want to be there. CP3 has been awful this season. Clearly his worst year. Just to dive into that, he's averaging 9 and 9 on 37% from the field and 27% from three.
My goodness!
But nobody's talking about it.
I have not heard anything about that.
That's what I'm saying.
What in the world?
So that leads to my next point. And you already know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
How was it whenever Russell Westbrook was averaging 30% from three? Last season, nobody said anything. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was. But CP3 is doing horrible this season, and it's nowhere to be found. But I guess they are getting wins, so it's not as big of an impact.
Yeah.
But CP3 is still a good defender, still a good playmaker, but I feel like he's about done.
Yeah. For the Suns, Devin Booker's playing at such a high level. He's an MVP candidate. He's playing like Kobe out there. That's what we thought he would do. Yeah. And Mikal Bridges, he's taken a huge step. We'll see.
He's been a really good defender.
Yeah, he's defensively. He was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year. Yeah. This year he's looking like it again. We'll see what he could do. Negative, like what you said, Chris Paul has taken a huge step back his entire game. He's just not the scorer he used to be.
That's
he used to be this mid-range pull-up master.
Yeah.
3, he was great.
Jelly fam,
but this age, Father Time caught up to him, unfortunately. We'll see if he can get back to it.
Yeah. So the Jazz are next. They won that T-Wolves trade 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And they have all the Timberwolves picks. So that's like a Celtics finesse on the Nets almost. But other than that, they have all these vets that are going to make them, good and, be a contender, but they really want to tank. You know what I'm saying? So they're kind of missing the timetable on that, and I feel like going into the future, none of these guys are the best player on a team in reality on a contender. So I feel like it's in their best benefit to tank, try to get, maybe, I don't think they're getting the first pick because they've just been off to a good start. Yeah. Maybe get Scoot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Or our guy here.
Brandon Miller?
Yeah, Brandon Miller. Yeah.
He's a beast. I love Brandon Miller. Yeah, for the Jazz, this team is doing so well on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. They are coached great and have so many solid players that are vets and youngsters. They have all these picks from Minnesota. They have they have such a bright future, but they don't have that superstar that's going to take them over the hump. They're probably going to come back down to earth eventually, like the Wizards last year, number one for half the year, and then just fell down to earth. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if they can keep it up. Lauri Markkanen's playing awesome, but we'll see how they do.
Yeah. So the Grizzlies are up next, who honestly have looked better than they did last year. And that's in missing Jaren Jackson Jr. But that's not to say, since they're missing Bane now, they will continue to win. I mean, they did win last night, but Zion was out. Yeah. So, I don't know. It just seems like every time one person comes back from injury, another guy's out. So, I don't know. They got to get healthy.
Yeah, I mean, for the Grizzlies, John Moran is playing extremely well. He's an MVP candidate. I think he's in the top 5.
I think he's third right now, or fourth.
He's averaging 30 points a game. He's lived up to all the expectations we thought he would be. Right now, he's looking like he probably should have been the number one pick over Zion.
Yeah.
We got to see if Zion can come back because we haven't really seen enough of him. But Ja Morant's playing like a superstar, man.
Yeah.
And then you have Desmond Bane in the situation. Yeah, he's hurt, but he's also playing like another superstar.
He's playing like an all-star.
Yeah, he's playing like an all-star. He's that big, beefy man, biceps Bane out there just beating people up. Negative, yeah. Bane's out 3 weeks with a toe injury. Jaren Jackson, hopefully it's not too early for him. I don't want to see that man get hurt again. It just happens too often with Jaren Jackson. That's been his whole career, just injuries. And he has so much potential to be such a good big man. That's Ja Morant's right-hand man. So we'll see how he can come back. I don't want to see that man get hurt again.
I feel like as long as he's playing really good defense and, whenever the whole team's healthy, as long as he's putting up 5 blocks a game, they're going to be, a top 5 team.
That's all you got to do. This is not a team that plays through their bigs. This is a team that plays through their guards.
They have 2 really good defensive rebounding bigs.
Yeah.
So next up, the Mavericks. Luka has played like the MVP this season. Him and Tatum, I feel like it's neck and neck.
And Giannis.
Yeah. MSC would have been a really dominant 1-2 punch, kick out to the 3, drive, all that good stuff. But once again, it's just not their year. They're stuck in this mediocre, play-in playoffs. They're not nowhere close to being out the play-in. I'm not saying that. But, they're just right there on a borderline playoff team. Luka seems committed though, so you can build around him, but you just need to get rid of these bulky contracts to Wyatt Powell, Bullock, Kleba. And maybe you can sign him, a top 25 guy in the offseason. It's a very deep free agency this year, so they can take full advantage of that.
For the Mavericks, Luka Doncic is one of the best players that this league's ever seen, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Scoring, he does it all. Passing, he does it all. It's just incredible the way he can make out there. Defensively, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. He's not the greatest, but, this dude's putting up numbers. I think he's, right now, the number one for MVP, so we'll see if he can keep that up. Negative, this is just a very thin roster. Really, your only pieces are Luka, Christian Wood, Hardaway, Dinwiddie, and Josh Green.
Yeah.
That's not a winning roster. Luka needs help out there. He can't carry the load forever. He's gonna get tired eventually. So we'll see what the Mavericks can build around Luka. Hopefully there's some pieces out there.
Yeah.
You draft Jaden Hardy. He's a big scorer. He was great in the G League. We'll see what the Mavericks can do to develop him.
Yeah, I think he's spending half his time in the G League.
Yeah,
so that's a good idea to develop him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, me too.
I thought he was going to be a beast coming out of the draft. I thought he should have been a first-round pick, and he fell to the second. The Kings drafted him, but traded him to the Mavericks, which was kind of unfortunate.
Who'd y'all swap or whatever?
I don't remember. I think we got a future pick for it.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. So next up are the Pelicans. Zion and B.I. are back. Zion did miss last game, but it was nothing major. The chemistry has only gotten better. They have great spacing, great defense. They have players that are committed to winning on the team, and it showed. They're right there in the play-in playoff spot.
Yep.
So from a team that was the worst team in the NBA a couple years ago to now being this good is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm not the biggest fan of CJ at the point guard. They need a true playmaker. As we saw at the game, it made the offense look stagnant. It was like, CJ, he's a catch-and-shoot guy. So it's kind of weird him bringing the ball up and then him just passing it up to Zion on post-up. It's like, just to go into that, when Zoe was the point guard, Zion was averaging 28 and B.I. was averaging 24.
Jeez.
So, imagine just putting a guy like that beside all 3 of them. That'd be crazy.
So, for the Pelicans, you have a dangerous starting 5 when healthy. This is a team that could win 60 games. Plus, you have LA's picks. The Lakers, they've been playing so bad. You might land Wembanyama, which is the crazy thing. That would be such a crazy fit with them. But on the negative health, Zion is day-to-day with another injury, which is kind of unfortunate. And like what you said, you don't have that primary playmaker out there to lead the team. Mm-hmm. Plus, coaching, I think, is a bit of a hurt. Like when we went to the game, they had some randos playing in there for a long time. Like Larry Nance should not have been playing in that game for as long as he did. Valanciunas was sitting in clutch time minutes. So coaching's got to get better. We'll see what the Pelicans can do about that. But right now, I think they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, I do too. So next up are the Clippers. A couple positives here. PJ PG is playing some of the best basketball of his career. He's leading the Clips. He's always been such a good scorer and defender. So I really liked how he's looked. Then Kawhi still has not been in the lineup consistently, and for me, it's like whenever he does come back, I don't know how well the team's gonna flesh. They're a really good team. They have guys that are unselfish, but still. It's kind of weird to see what they're gonna be like. I don't have that much confidence in how well they're gonna be, but we'll see. But looking back, I did see something. It was like, would you have regretted trading Shea away for Paul George? I would too.
That's
Shea
the hard
and
part.
Kawhi right now.
SGA is playing insane.
Yeah.
But I think the Clippers would be in the same spot because Kawhi's barely played, so this would just still be SGA playing basketball by himself. That's kind of like what he's doing in OKC right now.
But you would have more. You would have the role players around him.
Plus, you have youth.
Exactly.
You're gonna have more time with SGA than you would with Paul George.
Exactly.
So for the Clippers, Paul George he's been playing pretty well. It's not MVP PG, but he's still playing
right there
well.
with him.
Yeah, John Wall's not doing bad either. You can't really expect him to do too much, though.
I think he's putting up 11 points a game.
Yeah, but Kawhi, that's the big part. He has not played the amount that we wanted to see him play. He's still having knee problems. Right now, he's just riding the bench. We got to see what he could do when they come back, because the Clippers are not going to be a finals team without Kawhi Leonard. So as of right now, they just don't look like a team to beat. Maybe in the future when Kawhi comes back, if he's healthy, they could be. But right now, this is not a good-looking team without Kawhi.
This is the time to win it, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're missing the window if they don't win it within the next 2 years.
Yeah, because PG and Kawhi, they're only getting older. John Wall is very old.
Yeah.
They're in a similar situation to the Lakers where your roster is only getting older. And you're gonna miss that window if you don't capitalize now. So Kawhi's really got to come back. He's a robot. He's supposed to heal. He's supposed to heal faster, and he's not. So we got to see what happens there.
All right. So now getting on to Jamie's team.
Oh yeah, boy.
Fox has looked like a flat-out star. Arguably top 5 point guard this season.
Oh yeah.
Best basketball of his career. And he's led the Kings to being in the play-in, 8th best rated offense in the NBA. That's crazy, and they have a pretty solid defense. It's getting there as
it's lackluster at times.
Yeah, but that leads me into my next point. I feel like Domantas Sabonis needs to move back to his original position of the power forward. Get a true defender down there. I said, like, in a realistic sense, like a Kelly Olynyk or a Thomas Bryant, just to kind of help him with the shooting load and the defense.
Yeah.
Sabonis has gotten better at shooting as time's gone on, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like if you let somebody truly take over the defensive side for him, he's going to just do so much better offensively. It's just going to let him blossom.
For Sacramento, it was their new big three in the league. You have Fox, Murray, Sabonis. All three had 20-plus points in a 122-115 win over the Warriors. Fox is playing at an all-star level. And they're starting to stack wins. They've won 7 of their last 9. De'Aaron Fox is playing like an all-NBA type player, top 5 point guard in the league. If he's not an all-star this year, then I don't know who is.
Yeah.
Sabonis started pretty slow this year, but he picked up his aggression. He's playing very well. Keegan Murray had a pretty slow start to the year, but he's really picking it up. He's playing like a rookie of the year. Not the rookie of the year, but a candidate, And their depth just plays so well off of each other. When one person has a bad night, the other's there to pick them up. Like Terrence Davis had 31 last night. Like, who expects Terrence Davis to go out there and put 31 on a Kevin Durant-led team? You don't think of that. So I think the Kings are going to be very good this year. Mm-hmm. I think I had every right to put him as, what did I have him as?
You had him 9,
8,
like maybe 8.
I had him very high. So hopefully they can live up. For the negative, I think this year might not be the year for contention. I think they need another year under their belt to see what they could do. Harrison Barnes, I also think, is another negative. He's just not efficient whatsoever, offensively or defensively. Last year he averaged 19 points a game, but this year he's not looking that good at all. He's really got to pick it up. If not, we got to trade him. I think if the Lakers do a deal for Miles Turner, I think we could do some sort of thing for Harrison Barnes, sending him over to the Lakers for Thomas Bryant, getting a real big man. I think that would help. And moving Sabonis to power forward.
Mm-hmm. So next up is OKC, who are surprisingly right outside the play-in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy, but Shea and Giddey have been playing like Russell Westbrook and James Harden out there. Like, they've been going crazy. Watch out for them in a couple years because they're going to be probably a top 5 team in the West in like 5 years probably.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like they deal with a lot of injuries with the young guys, and it's like I've experienced this, with OKC, Russell Westbrook, and all that. It's like the training coach and like just the injury rehabilitation guys, they don't do a good job.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, it was the same thing with KD and Westbrook. Every year, one of them was injured. That was why they never had success because one year one's injured, and like we've seen it with Shea being injured, Giddey, now Chet. Now he's gonna miss a whole season. So
it's tough. Yeah, for the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's having just an insane year.
Yeah,
he's probably going to win Most Improved. He's an MVP candidate, which is, something insane. I don't think very many people had that. He's been an absolute monster from all over the court. Love their coach. He's pushing the ball up the court. Scoring comes very easy to them, but they're just not really winning games. This is a team that's very based on the future. This is another team that could land Wembanyama, and imagine SGA and Wembanyama. Pair that with Josh Giddey, who's a primary passer.
And Lou Dort.
Crazy. Plus all their picks this year. This is a very dangerous team. This is probably going to be a dynasty.
Yeah.
Prepare for the Thunder to be a dynasty within the next 10 years.
So the same thing 10 years ago. But.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see where they go. They have all these picks, all of this youth. This is just a wonderful team to watch.
Yeah, I agree. So the Spurs are up next. And actually, Keldon Johnson has not looked like a bad player to build around. He has great upside as a two-way player. They decided they wanted to move him to the small forward a little bit more this season, let him play his natural position. He's been playing good defense, good shooting. I think he's around 25 points per game, 22, something like that. It's in the middle of that. But I really like how he's been playing this season.
Yeah.
Feel like it'll get better as the years go on, but aside from Keldon, who do they really have for their future? They just got rid of Josh Primo, so I guess Trey Jones is your only other young guy on the team.
Yeah.
So, you just got to really bank on that draft.
Yeah. You're the Spurs. You have Coach Pop, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. Vassell's played fairly well this year.
I forgot about Vassell.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a breakout season, from his previous team. Who was he on before?
I think he was either on the Pacers or he was on the Spurs last season.
Yeah, he's really stepped up for this team that doesn't really have any sort of talent whatsoever outside of Keldon Johnson. So it's good to see Devin Vassell stepping up. On the negative side of things, you're the San Antonio Spurs. You are the worst team in the league.
Most boring team in basketball.
Yeah, so boring. You have the greatest coach of all time. Well, maybe not of all time, but he's definitely up there.
He's definitely top 2.
Yeah, him and Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
I think they're just 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
But you have such a terrible roster, and Coach Pop is very close to retiring soon. So hopefully you could send him out on a bang.
Yeah.
Because, right now is definitely not their time.
Coach Tim Duncan.
Yeah. He's got the dreads.
I know.
I mess with it.
It'll be crazy if he's the coach of them. I feel like he'd do a pretty good job.
Definitely.
But the Wolves are up next. Ant is still being him. He's still doing him, scoring efficiently. Other than that, nothing.
No.
Cat's been good, whatever. But the chemistry is horrible. Worse in the league, I think. Right there with the Nets. They have just terrible chemistry. Cat's made comments about Ant, and then Ant has hostility towards him. I can already tell. That play of him just standing there on the court, and then him running the bleachers after the game. That was just like, it's Ant's team. Cat's being jealous about it. So.
Yeah. This is Anthony Edwards' team. Karl Anthony Towns is playing well, but this is nowhere near what any of us were thinking of. The team chemistry is just so bad. D'Lo and Rudy need to play better. This team needs to figure things out because they had a great end of the year last year, and being 6-8 right now is just unacceptable. Yeah. This is a team I thought would be a top 3 seed.
I thought you had them at like 2 or 1.
Yeah, I think I had them somewhere around there. But this is just such a well-built team, and to be performing this bad with all this animosity towards each other, it's just unacceptable. Anthony Edwards has all of this, this little shade going at all of his teammates because they attacked his chicken. So, hopefully they can get this resolved because this is a team that should be a championship contender.
Yeah.
But they're not, so.
So for the Warriors, the punch between Dre and Poole hasn't really seemed to cause any issues. They're not doing that well, but it's like you say that about the Warriors, and they're going to go out there and Steph's going to have 50 and Poole's going to have 30. So you can't count them out ever. But their offense does seem a little stagnant. Even Curry hasn't been able to get to his spots. Kevon Looney hasn't really looked effective in pick-and-roll situations. Yeah. Dre hasn't looked effective in it, The defense is kind of off, but I don't know. It's the Warriors. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. So with the Warriors, you have Steph, Clay, Draymond, Poole, and all the other components to help them win games. What I feel like the Warriors do is once they make the playoffs, that's when they turn the switch on. This is a team that performs in the playoffs. Like, I don't think they had necessarily a fan. What was their record last year?
They were fourth in the West, or they were in the bottom tier of it.
Yeah, so they weren't necessarily where we thought they would be, but they go into the playoffs and just
dominate.
I think that's what the Warriors do. So even if they finish as like the 8th seed this year, they're still going to kill it in the play-in, and then they're going to kill it in the playoffs. That's what the Warriors do. But for the regular season, you lost depth from last season, and it's really showing with their lackluster start to the season. They're ranked 3rd in the California teams because Sacramento is the best team in California.
Who's the worst?
The Lakers. Yeah. They're bad. So we'll see what the Warriors can do. I'm sure they'll turn around at some point.
Yeah. So next up, the Lakers.
There's a lot to say here.
Yeah. So my positive is good for me, but not good for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook has been playing like a star off the bench. Around 20 points per game, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, But it's led to some teams calling about him, like I was saying, Knicks, Spurs, Heat, teams like that. And the one that's most likely to happen is the Pacers. I already said the package and all that, but I feel like that's beneficial for the Lakers. You get those guys in there. You get Russell Westbrook in a situation where he can have the ball in his hands and be an all-star again. But for the Lakers, it's really more of just not wasting LeBron's time. He signed a 4-year deal because he thought they were going to be contenders, and here they are just being nothing, So outside of Russ, Lonnie, Braun, AD, and Reeves, it's horrible. The offense and the defense is just atrocious. They have the worst offense in the league. They had the 8th best defense in the league like a couple games ago. It was like second. It was something insane like that. But now they have like the 28th.
Oh my goodness,
that's crazy. And Pat Bev looking like 2012 Pat Bev out there. Inexperienced defender. That's a shot chucker. I mean,
he just does pull up threes.
Yeah,
with like no intention. It's
Russell
so
Westbrook
weird.
Wide open right beside him. AD wide open in the paint. He's out there shooting threes with like a minute left.
Yeah,
blowing games. I don't know what's up with him, but
yeah, I mean LeBron is still one of the better players in the league. In the notes here, it says he's a top 10 player still, but I don't think so.
He definitely top 8. He top 8.
Top 8? That's crazy.
He's still putting up crazy points.
I think he's top 14.
That's a stretch, bro. He at least top 10. That's crazy. KD not top 10 if he not top 10.
Probably. I don't know. KD's still.
They right there with each other.
KD's averaging 25.
Yeah, but they're losing too.
He's losing, but he's putting up buckets.
He don't play make.
Injured, bro.
You were right.
Injured. AD's been playing surprisingly well, coming off all of these injuries, and Westbrook's really boosting that trade value with that 6th Man of the Year candidacy. Lonnie Walker was a huge signing, and he's probably going to be the only Laker on the team with a long-term contract. Schroeder and Bryant should be back sometime soon. But for the negatives, I mean, we could go through an entire list of what the negatives are for the Lakers. There's just no team chemistry, a lot of drama going on in the background. It just seems like they don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. They're terrible offensively, no shooting, terrible defensively. Like, this team does not have an identity. Right now, their identity is just bad. Like, really bad. Like, so bad, they're going to give Wembanyama to the Pelicans type bad. So, I mean, as a Kings fan, I really hope they don't turn it around. Like, I hope they just stay bad. But knowing the Lakers, they'll probably end up doing it. We'll see what Darvin Ham can do, because right now he's looking not too hot. We'll see, though.
Yeah. You know who the best shooter on the team is?
Who?
Russell Westbrook. 38% from 3.
I don't know. You got the white boys out there, Austin Reeves,
but they still
Matt
not
Ryan.
shooting like him. He's doing 38% on like 5 attempts.
The splash crackers. We'll see.
That's crazy. Next up is the Rockets. They have a really good big 3 built for the future. Green, my boy KPJ, and Jabari Smith Jr. They look like such a well-ran big 3. You have your scorer, your playmaker, and your big man. So I really like that for the future. But not much. They're just in the rebuilding process, They're wasting the talent of Eric Gordon. That's a big negative. As a Philly fan, I'd be more than happy to give them Niang and a second-round pick for Eric Gordon.
Take it back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, there's not really any negatives. I mean, they at first, whenever, I think it was Jabari and Green got into the fight, like, argue in the early stages of the season, I thought maybe it wasn't the best fit. But now they've seen the flesh a little bit, and they're looking good. I'm really excited for their future.
Yeah, for the Rockets, Jalen Green has been playing very well. Top 5 shooting guard like I thought. I'm not sure. Probably not.
Top 10 at least.
Yeah, he's top 10. We'll see what he can do for the rest of the season. right now Porter's he's earning his contract. Alperen Sengun's been surprisingly very solid. He played really well last year. I feel like he was very under the radar.
He was off the bench, Didn't have his opportunities.
He was very under the radar, and I think now he's getting more minutes. He's getting more respect from his peers. I think he's really trying to show off what he could do. He was a very highly scouted prospect coming out of college, but he didn't get drafted high because he's from out of the country. So we'll see what he could do for the rest of his career. I really like him. We'll see what he could do. Negative, Jabari Smith. I mean, this is somebody that we all thought was going to be our number one for the rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
No doubter, like 23 points a game type of guy, give you 10 rebounds, shoot the three all over you. But he's just been flat out mediocre. He's not playing terribly, but he's not playing to the level we thought he would be.
Yeah.
Free Eric Gordon though. Send him to Philly.
Right now, we will take him.
Yeah, I mean he deserves a championship.
Yeah. But back to the Jabari Smith thing, I feel like centers, it takes them a little bit longer to develop in the NBA. I mean, what center in the last 5 years has came in and just been a flat out star? You know what I'm saying? You can't really think of one necessarily unless I'm just missing somebody.
I think he's a power forward though.
Yeah,
I think Sengun plays the center.
Big man, you know what I'm saying. I mean, other than Banchero, nobody else has really been able to do that.
Well, we have to see about Chet too.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think he'll be. I don't know. We'll see.
Really? You think he's gonna be a bust?
I mean, he just doesn't have an NBA body. You know what I'm saying? They try to relate him to KD, but KD is 250 and 6'10". He's like 230 and 7'3".
Yeah.
Like Porzingis put on some weight, but he's not like Porzingis. Porzingis is like he can play off of people really good. I feel like Chet thinks that he needs